you can tell by the logo that I've kind of caught a bug with the New Adventures of He-Man. It just seems to be that perfect mix of awful and familiar that it's just kind of funny to me. So today we have Optikk as one of the evil mutants. He has a rotating eye feature, and I gotta say, so far he's the coolest looking guy of this lot. I just think that is awesome that he's just an eyeball crammed in a cybernetic body. And he has a new adventure comic. He also only comes with Space Laser, and here he is drawing a bead on somebody with his eyeball and rotating eye feature. On the back is Optikk's class portrait there. He's an evil mutant spy from the foggy polar region of evil planet Denebria. That's where all the bad guys hang out in the New Adventures. It looks kind of like a giant meteor skull thing. I did look up the comic that should have come with He-Man himself, but didn't on the one I had, because I believe I had a kind of European version that didn't have comics. And there's Hydron again with his fork. Skeletor is proving difficult to find in the box. And Slushhead I've found has a couple of different names when you look him up on eBay. He's either Slushhead in the US or Calamar in the EU version. It looks like Terraclaw vehicle and Astro Sub. I actually have a couple of vehicles of this now too that we'll do in more videos. Let's see, rotating eye feature. He's got a knob on his back to make his eyes swivel around. And put weapon in right hand, press arm down, let go. So he's got kind of the Indiana Jones spring arm. So I actually gotta say, I'm kind of looking forward to opening this guy, so I'm just gonna get right to it. Alright, so we've got Optikk himself. No plastic sweating or anything like that. Let's make the, oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of sold on this guy. He's much cooler than the good guys that I've opened so far. His laser rifle, it's not a bad looking space gun. Seen much worse. This arm, kind of nice, isn't attached to any action features at all. So he's got one good arm. Let's see if we can get his gun in his hand here. He's got a pretty tight grip on it. There we go. He'd probably be a pretty terrible shot since he's got no depth perception with only one big eye. But man, what a great feature. All the eyeball themed guys in Masters of the Universe are awesome. Like Triclops is my favorite guy from the original line, and he was all about the multiple eyeballs, and I think he was supposed to be a spy as well. Like said on the back of Optikk's card, I believe, that yeah, he's an evil mutant spy. So he's pretty great looking. He's got kind of this C-3PO wire abs. This is the knob on the back that turns his eye back and forth. Really simple feature, but it doesn't interfere with any of the other play. Oh yeah, I forgot his. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, there's here's you looking at me kind of joke in there, I'm sure. Yeah, this guy's decent. I'm feeling this New Adventures stuff now. I'm on board. If only he had ankle joints, you could actually get him in a pretty decent pose with the gun, but they just have knee and hip articulation, so it's kind of limited, and he's a little top heavy, so a little bit difficult to get him to stand. But pretty cool. I like this guy. I am pleased. What do we have for the mini comic? He-Man and Skeletor again swiping at each other, and we have the Revenge of Skeletor. So the Revenge of Skeletor is volume 1, number 4. The last comic we looked at was Volume 1, Number 3. And what's kind of nice is this one starts off with a map of the new world of... Here it's calling it the planet Primus. But here's, I guess, Titus and the Guardian. Oh, okay, Primus itself. Enos, one of the moons. And this is actually Denebria, the mutant planet, and this is the Skull asteroid I was thinking of, which is the moon Nordor. And, you know, there's another skull in this triple sun thing over here, so there's a lot of skulls happening. And He-Man, Hydron, Flipshot, and this is KO. Well, I'm also getting one of him still sealed too, so we'll open him up in another video. But as luck would have it, by sheer chance, this comic actually picks up after the abrupt ending of Volume 3 that we looked at in the Hydron video. So we've got Skeletor and Flog are escaping, and, you know, Skeletor swears he's going to get back at He-Man, but he needs to get the Terror Claw back, which is the walking grabbing machine that we looked at. So Slushhead and Optikk are still tied up in He-Man's balls here. They're talking about how they need to get the crystal back to the observatory on Titus here to restore the atmosphere of Primus, which is, I guess, their whole planet runs off of a crystal. Skeletor's teleported the vehicle and his henchmen away. He-Man's got a bad feeling about this. Hydron has now got his mask on, because in the previous comic he was just some guy in a wetsuit, and I guess that was based off of the prototype figure, so they hadn't finalized him yet. So between one comic they finally got it right. And so they race back to the Starship Eternia, which in the very first mini-comic, which I'm hoping I'll get one of these characters will have it, this actually sucked all the power out of Castle Grayskull, and that's why he had to say, by the power of Eternia now. So they're desperately trying to explain all these changes. The first comic is actually much better than the cartoon, because Adam turns into He-Man right in front of Skeletor and like burns him, and just that's why Skeletor's got all these cybernetics now that he had to repair himself, and it's pretty gruesome and really pretty epic. And because Skeletor's like just insulted that it's been Adam this whole time, and, you know, gets his butt kicked right in front of him. Anyway, back to the adventure. So they get a message from Titus that the entire planet will destruct in an hour. He-Man orders everybody to get all their ducks in a row and hyperspeed back. Previously on Titus, they've been teleported back by Skeletor. Skeletor's insulting his guys because he's Skeletor, and they're at the Titus Observatory, and they're apparently blowing up the Titus Observatory. We must defend the observatory. I told you somebody would, in the last video, that somebody would get grabbed by that thing. Just some random peon has been grabbed. Flog is using his whip action thing. I have a Flog coming too, because I'm in too deep now. And Optikk is punching a guy with his gun. And Slushhead slash column door. Just grab. Looks like it's all the same guy, unless that unitard was just really popular that season. Keep your eye out for He-Man, right? I don't think he's into the eye puns either. So they're back in the scene of the crime where they stole the crystal from the observatory in Titus. So Skeletor is asking, where's the crystal, and he wants the crystal back. I guess he thinks this is some kind of trap because he threw the crystal at He-Man in the last episode. But He-Man's wise to it. Sounds like a trap, even though they have to save the planet. And the Starship Eternia can also transform into a ground-based battle station, so it's got 3 transformation modes. Give up, He-Man, you're dog meat. And you're getting a new leash on life? Oh no. They fired the bola at the guy at Flog. Too many puns in this one. Not so fast, Swamp Brain. Oh, the Astro Sub is being a submarine here. I assume that's a... I bet the toy has a periscope feature, and that's why it's got that giant thing on the top. I haven't looked up a lot about this toy line because it's kind of fun for me just to learn about it as I go and make assumptions about it and just judge it. Ha, made you blink, so KO punched him in the eye, and some more eyeball jokes. He-Man's rushing in, and apparently he walked right into Skeletor's staff. The crystal in this issue is now yellow instead of clear, and Skeletor's just beating him with a candelabra here, which I guess is the new version of the Havoc staff. He-Man kicks him in the groin area, which even a buff skeleton can't withstand. It's only got 60 more seconds. By the power of Eternia, I have the power, which is kind of weird because he's permanently He-Man now, but I don't know if it like buffs him up even more to just scream things and punch guys. 10 seconds left. Down to the wire. Skeletor fleeing. Looks like the machine is back on. He saved Primus. Boy, a flip shot just looks like crap in every picture. Alright, He-Man. That's creepy. You think you've won, He-Man? Never. My evil deeds are just beginning. The end? Well, this one has an ending. So I guess there's a two-parter, even though it had no continued in the next volume or anything. And the same kind of stuff. Here's all our friends again, even though they left Optikk off of this again. That's the Bola jet that launches balls at people, and the shuttle pod, which is the ultimate throne ship of doom, which can also attach to the Terror Claw, which I've seen in some art. Starship Eternia, which I'll have to look into that a little bit more. So there we have it. And there is Optikk, the best looking figure from this line that I've seen so far, and you know, I've just got to admit it to myself that I'm in pretty deep now. So there'll be more New Adventures of He-Man stuff coming up. There's just something about it that's grabbed me. It's just the kind of terribleness and the newness of it, I guess. It's just kind of fun to take a look at. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see where we can find more of the mini comics and take a look at a couple of the vehicles. And